Along South Main Street in Rockford, a 3-acre piece of land is about to get new life. Area leaders hope to redevelop the site where an elementary school once sat. And as reporter Madeline Korzanuski has more on how this could add housing at a time in need.
The King School is a great location, and we're looking at creative ideas.
Crews demolished the former King Elementary School years ago, leaving nearly 3 acres of vacant land along South Main Street in Rockford. While the space may look desolate, the Northern Illinois Land Bank thinks it could be a gold mine of sorts.
When Rockford Public School District donated that parcel to the land bank, it was identified as an opportunity for housing.
But at the time, no one in the struggling construction industry stepped forward with ideas to redevelop the site, so the land bank waited.
When we first received the site, it was hard to talk to people about new construction, but it's a different housing market.
The organization wants to give it another go, asking for construction proposals. Real estate leaders say we need more housing in the region. There are fewer than 300 homes currently for sale across Winnebago, Boone, and Ogle counties.
That could be townhomes, it could be condos, it could be single-family homes. We're looking for something that's complementary to the existing neighborhood.
Proposals are due July 31st. After that, the city of Rockford and the land bank will review each plan before selecting a developer.
I think success looks like people owning their own homes in that area. They, find an awesome, vibrant, rich neighborhood along the South Main corridor.
In Rockford, I'm Madeline Korzanuski.
Once a developer is selected, leaders say the goal is to begin transferring the property this fall, with construction activity potentially starting next year.